everyone, I'm Laura from Cherubs, Chalks Interiors. I'm here today with my latest furniture tutorial where I'm going to show you how I achieved this smooth modern finish on this dresser. This started out looking quite battered with a real dark varnish on, and it really wasn't very nice, so I'm so glad that I've managed to transform it into something beautiful. Here is how the piece started out. I bought it because it had some lovely details, but that dark varnish was really putting me off. I knew it had potential, but it took me a while to figure out what to do with it. Before I start any project, I always give it a real good clean with some white lightning. This comes in a granule form, which I mix up with some water in a spray bottle. It's important to rinse off any residue with some plain water afterwards. As you are doing your prep work, you may come across some areas which need repair. This one had some loose trim, so I decided to take it off to modernise the piece. I'm then going to sand it all over using a 120 grit on my electric sander. Now I'm going to choose the colour. I've opted for Acadia, which is a lovely deep green from the Silk Mineral Paint line. Silk is one of my favourite paints as it has a built-in primer and top coat, which means that other than the prep work, all you need to do is paint. This colour has amazing coverage, so only required 2 coats. Now I want to keep the top surface light, however there are some areas which I need to cover, some darker marks and stains. So I'm going to mix up a colour wash using Badlands and some water. There is no particular ratio for this, I just tend to do it by eye, depending on how opaque I want this to be. Obviously if you want it to be really subtle then you add more water, or if you want it to be a thicker consistency then you add more paint instead. So when I've got that consistency right, I'm simply going to brush this on and then wipe off the excess. Once that had dried, I realised that you could still see these marks that I was hoping to cover. The last thing I wanted to do was have to paint over this beautiful wood grain just because of those marks. So I'm going to mix up a new mix using just a little touch of umber into my existing mixture. Once I've got the right mix, I'm going to apply this again all over, making sure I get into all of those details on the sides. Again, I'm going to wipe off the excess using a sponge this time, making sure to work in long smooth strokes to avoid any streaks. I'm so glad that adding that small amount of umber has really helped cover those marks and create a gorgeous coloured wash on the top surface. Now it's time to seal it all in for protection, so I'm using some satin clear coat, which I decant onto a plate, and then I'm going to use my blue sponge, picking up a small amount of the clear coat and then again wiping this on in long smooth strokes across the top of the piece to avoid any streaks to the finish. You want to allow this to completely dry and then apply another coat. Now I've left everything to dry overnight, put it all back together, and here is the final result. I really can't believe how different this one looks. I know I do this for a job every day, but sometimes pieces just surprise us. I really did have little hope that this one could look this good. It sat in my workshop for a long time waiting for a makeover, and now I think it's looking better than ever. Look at that gorgeous wood grain on the top, and the green shade is just beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us on our latest video. If you'd like to see more of our work, you can go ahead and find us on all of the social media platforms at Cherubs, Chalks Interiors. You can also subscribe here on our channel to get notified when we post our next video. So from me and Toby, it's goodbye for now.